Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into something pretty important, especially as we move through the different stages of our lives. As we get older, our priorities shift. The people we let into our lives can have a big impact on our well-being, and it's not always easy to recognize when it's time to let some relationships go, even if they involve family or old friends. Today, we're talking about 9 signs that it might be time to end a connection, even if it feels tough. So, if you've ever felt torn about holding on to someone who no longer brings positivity to your life, stick around. This one is for you. Alright, let's get into it. 1. They take advantage of your generosity. As you grow older, your time, energy, and resources become more precious. You've spent a lifetime working hard, building relationships, and giving to those you care about. Generosity might have always been one of your greatest strengths. You've probably offered help to family, friends, and even acquaintances when they needed it. But here's the thing, not everyone values or respects that kindness. Some people might even exploit it. Think about the people in your life. Are there individuals who only seem to reach out when they need something? They might rarely ask how you're doing or take the time to visit, but they're quick to call the moment they need a favor. Maybe they always have an excuse for not contributing or helping in return. They might claim they're too busy or don't have the resources, yet somehow they always seem to find time and money for the things that matter to them. Sound familiar? It's tough, right? Realizing someone's been taking advantage of your kindness can be painful. And it's not just about money. It's about feeling like your generosity is one-sided, that your efforts to maintain a relationship are not reciprocated. And unfortunately, this kind of behavior can even happen with family members or lifelong friends. It's particularly hurtful because, in those relationships, you expect a bond built on mutual care and respect. Generosity should be met with gratitude, not entitlement. If someone regularly expects you to give without offering anything in return, whether it's time, support, or even a simple thank you, it creates an imbalance in the relationship. And that imbalance can be emotionally draining. It often leads to feelings of resentment or frustration, and that's not something you need in your life, especially at this stage. Letting go of people who exploit your generosity doesn't mean you stop being kind. It means you recognize your own worth and decide to invest your time and energy into relationships that are meaningful and reciprocal. It's about creating space for people who appreciate you, not just for what you can give, but for who you are. You've earned the right to enjoy the fruits of your hard work, to spend your days surrounded by people who bring joy and warmth into your life. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Trust your instincts, set boundaries, and remember that it's okay to say no. Protecting your peace and well-being is the greatest gift you can give yourself. 2. They bring conflict into your life. Conflict, at any stage of life, is unsettling. But as we grow older, it becomes especially burdensome. You've worked hard to cultivate peace through decades of experience, and that peace shouldn't be disrupted by people who thrive on drama or discord. Yet, some individuals seem to carry conflict with them like a dark cloud, always casting shadows over the harmony you've worked so hard to create. These people often argue over trivial matters, turning small misunderstandings into full-blown battles. They're quick to take offense and slow to forgive, holding grudges that weigh on the relationship like an anchor. What's worse, they might try to drag you into their disputes with others, forcing you to take sides in conflicts that have nothing to do with you. By doing this, they undermine your sense of stability, making you feel like a pawn in their endless games of turmoil. Conflict itself isn't always bad, sometimes it can bring growth or clarity. But the type of conflict these individuals create is rarely constructive. It's about control, self-righteousness, or an inability to let go of their own insecurities. They argue not to find solutions but to assert dominance, to prove they're right at the expense of everyone else's peace. Their inability to handle disagreements maturely often leads to cycles of tension that leave everyone involved feeling drained and resentful. At this stage in life, you've likely learned that true relationships are built on understanding and compromise, not on constant opposition. You've earned the wisdom to recognize when someone's behavior is no longer worth the toll it takes on your emotional well-being. Being around someone who brings persistent conflict into your life can leave you feeling stressed, frustrated, or even unappreciated, emotions that take away from the joy and fulfillment you deserve. Choosing to step back from these relationships is not an act of bitterness, it's an act of self-preservation. It's about valuing your peace above someone else's need for chaos. When you let go of those who bring unnecessary conflict, you create space for relationships that nourish your soul, connections that are calm, respectful, and enriching. Life is too short, and time is too precious, to waste on endless battles that serve no purpose. Protect your peace as fiercely as you've protected those you love over the years. You deserve to spend this chapter of your life surrounded by harmony, laughter, and people who lift you up, not weigh you down. Letting go of conflict isn't giving up, it's choosing yourself and the tranquility you've earned. 3. They dismiss your feelings. One of the deepest desires we carry through life is to be heard and understood. It's not just about having someone listen to our words, it's about feeling that our emotions, experiences, and perspectives truly matter to them. But sometimes, even with people we've known for years, this fundamental need for validation goes unmet. Some individuals dismiss your feelings, whether consciously or not, leaving you feeling unseen and unimportant. Perhaps you've tried to share something that weighed heavily on your heart, a memory, a worry, or even a joy, only to have it brushed aside with a quick remark. They might say, "Oh, don't worry about it," or "You're overthinking things." While they may think they're offering reassurance, what they're really doing is invalidating your emotions. Over time, these small dismissals can add up, making you question whether it's worth opening up at all. It's especially painful when the person dismissing your feelings is someone you've trusted deeply, a family member or a longtime friend. Their inability to acknowledge your emotions can make you feel as if your experiences are insignificant, as if you're asking too much by simply wanting to be heard. This is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their inability to truly connect. At this stage in life, you've weathered storms and celebrated triumphs that have shaped you into the person you are today. Your feelings are the echoes of those experiences, and they deserve respect. Being around someone who habitually dismisses your emotions can be draining, even damaging to your self-worth. It can leave you feeling isolated, as if the depth of your life's journey is too much for them to grasp. Letting go of relationships like these isn't about anger or blame, it's about protecting your heart. You deserve to spend your time with people who lean in when you speak, who listen not just with their ears but with their hearts. These are the people who affirm your value by making space for your thoughts and feelings, who remind you that your voice matters. Choosing to step back from someone who dismisses your emotions isn't easy, especially when history and loyalty are involved. But it's a necessary act of self-care, one that opens the door to relationships where you feel truly seen and appreciated. In the end, the connections that nourish your spirit are the ones worth keeping. They're the ones that remind you that you are, and always have been, enough. That wraps up part 1, covering the first 3 signs that it might be time to let go of certain relationships. Stay tuned for the next part, where we'll dive even deeper into the behaviors that may be holding you back from the peace and fulfillment you deserve. 4. They push their beliefs onto you. As we move through life, we learn to embrace differences. Life is so much richer because people see the world in diverse ways, whether it's through their politics, religion, or personal values. However, not everyone respects this diversity. Some people feel compelled to impose their beliefs on others, unable to understand that acceptance, not conversion, is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. These individuals might preach endlessly about their opinions, dismissing any perspective that doesn't align with their own. They might pressure you to agree with their views, making you feel as though your beliefs are invalid or unworthy of consideration. Conversations with them often turn into debates, and even when you try to remain neutral or disengaged, they interpret your silence as opposition. They view every differing belief as a challenge, something to be conquered, rather than a unique perspective to be respected. By this stage in your life, you've likely developed a clear sense of what you value and believe in. You've weathered enough storms to understand that differences don't need to divide people, they can actually deepen understanding and enrich relationships. But when someone refuses to respect your individuality, it creates unnecessary tension. It's not just exhausting, it's deeply discouraging to feel that someone values being right over nurturing a connection with you. Letting go of these relationships isn't about rejecting someone's beliefs, it's about honoring your peace. It's about choosing to surround yourself with people who accept you as you are, without trying to reshape you into their image. Life is too precious to spend it defending your values to someone who refuses to listen. Seek out relationships that celebrate your uniqueness rather than challenge it. Those are the relationships that will bring you joy and fulfillment. 5. Being around them feels draining. Not all relationships are built to last a lifetime. Over the years, people change, priorities shift, and what once brought joy can sometimes begin to feel like a burden. Have you ever noticed that after spending time with certain people, you feel exhausted instead of uplifted? It's not always something you can pinpoint, perhaps it's their negativity, their constant demands, or even just the absence of a meaningful connection. Whatever the cause, this emotional drain is a signal that something in the relationship is no longer right. It's not about blaming them or yourself. Relationships are dynamic, and not all of them evolve in ways that nourish both parties. Some people may be unaware of the weight they bring into your life, but the impact is undeniable. It could be the way they dominate conversations with their own concerns, leaving no room for your thoughts. Or maybe it's their persistent negativity, where every silver lining is clouded by another complaint or criticism. Over time, this takes a toll, not just on your mood, but on your overall sense of well-being. At this stage in life, your energy is precious. You've spent decades giving, helping, and supporting others, and you've earned the right to be selective about where you invest your time and attention. The people you choose to be around should make you feel lighter, not heavier. They should leave you with a sense of joy and connection, not a lingering fatigue. Letting go of someone who drains you doesn't mean you failed, or that the relationship was a mistake. It simply means recognizing that your peace matters. It means choosing to honor yourself by surrounding yourself with relationships that feel reciprocal, uplifting, and meaningful. The world is full of opportunities to build connections with those who genuinely value and energize you. By releasing relationships that no longer align with your emotional needs, you open the door to a life that is lighter, freer, and filled with the kind of love and support you truly deserve. 6. They constantly complain without consideration. There's something deeply human about sharing our struggles. It creates connection and allows others to see our vulnerability, offering the chance to support and be supported in return. But not everyone approaches this with the same sense of balance or reciprocity. Some people see relationships not as a mutual exchange, but as a one-way outlet for their grievances. Over time, these individuals turn every conversation into a platform for their complaints, leaving you feeling drained and unseen. At first, you may listen with empathy, offering comfort and advice as any caring person would. But as the pattern repeats, it becomes clear that their complaints aren't just occasional, they're constant. They don't come to you seeking solutions or meaningful conversation. Instead, they unload their negativity without pause, without consideration for how it impacts your emotional well-being. It's as though they see you not as a person with your own burdens, but as a vessel to absorb theirs. What's more, these individuals rarely, if ever, take the time to ask how you're doing. They seem unaware that you might have your own struggles, challenges, and fears. Instead, the focus always remains on them, on their problems, their frustrations, their need for validation. It's an unbalanced dynamic that can leave you feeling invisible, as though your own emotional needs are secondary, or worse, irrelevant. This isn't just emotionally exhausting, it's deeply unfair. Relationships are meant to be a source of mutual support and understanding, a place where both people can share their joys and sorrows in equal measure. When one person dominates the emotional space with constant complaints, it creates an environment where connection and growth become impossible. Letting go of someone who constantly complains without consideration is not about rejecting their struggles, it's about protecting your emotional health and acknowledging that your own feelings matter too. You've spent a lifetime building strength, navigating life's ups and downs, and finding your way through challenges. You deserve relationships that honor your resilience and offer you the same care and respect you give to others. It's okay to step back. It's okay to say, I need space. By doing so, you're not being selfish, you're reclaiming your right to a balanced and fulfilling life. You're making room for relationships that nurture your spirit, relationships where your voice is heard, your feelings are valued, and your presence is truly appreciated. At this stage in life, prioritizing your peace isn't just a choice, it's a gift you give to yourself, and you've more than earned it. 7. They don't keep their promises. Promises aren't just words, they are a bond, a commitment, and a reflection of respect in any relationship. When someone says they will do something, they are offering you their trust and reliability. At this stage in life, where time and trust have become even more precious, broken promises carry a weight that is difficult to overlook. Perhaps you've experienced this: a friend or family member assures you they'll call, visit, or help with something important, but they don't follow through. It might happen once or twice, and you brush it off as a misunderstanding or a busy schedule. But when this behavior becomes a pattern, when someone repeatedly fails to honor their commitments, it sends a clear message: your time and trust are not valued. This lack of follow-through can leave you feeling unimportant, frustrated, and even disrespected. It's not just the inconvenience of rearranged plans or unmet expectations, it's the deeper realization that the relationship lacks the reliability and mutual respect you deserve. Broken promises erode the foundation of trust that healthy connections are built upon, leaving behind doubt and disappointment. At your age, you've likely been on both sides of promises, keeping them, and perhaps at times, unintentionally breaking them. But you understand the importance of trying, of acknowledging when you fall short, and of making things right. That effort is what distinguishes someone who values the relationship from someone who does not. When someone habitually breaks their promises without remorse or an attempt to change, it's a sign that the relationship has become unbalanced. Letting go of such relationships is not an easy decision, especially if they involve people you've known for years or care deeply about. But it's also a way to reclaim your peace and prioritize your well-being. By stepping away from those who treat your time and trust casually, you make space for relationships that honor and nurture those qualities. You deserve to be surrounded by people who keep their word, not out of obligation, but because they value you and the connection you share. Trust is a gift, and it should be given to those who prove they are worthy of it. Let go of the weight of broken promises, and embrace the freedom of choosing relationships built on mutual respect and sincerity. After all, your time is far too valuable to be spent waiting on promises that were never meant to be kept. 8. They relive the same problems without growth. Life is a journey of growth, a series of lessons that shape us, refine us, and guide us toward becoming our best selves. Along the way, it's natural to encounter challenges, to stumble, and to carry worries that weigh us down. But some people never seem to move beyond their struggles. They relive the same problems over and over, refusing to take any steps toward resolution. By doing so, they trap themselves, and often those around them, in a cycle of negativity. You may have someone like this in your life, a person who constantly revisits the same worries or conflicts, sharing the same stories of disappointment without ever seeking a way forward. At first, you might have offered advice, listened patiently, and offered solutions. But over time, it becomes clear that they aren't interested in change. They aren't seeking guidance, they're seeking an outlet. No matter how much time or emotional energy you invest, nothing changes. This pattern can be deeply draining. It's not just the repetition that wears on you, it's the feeling of helplessness, knowing that no matter what you say or do, they remain stuck in the same place. It's frustrating to watch someone refuse to take responsibility for their own growth, especially when they pull you into their endless cycle of despair. They might ask for advice but never act on it, or they might dismiss every suggestion you offer, insisting that nothing can be done. At this stage in life, you've likely faced your share of hardships, and you've learned the value of resilience and moving forward. You know that while pain and struggle are inevitable, staying stuck is a choice. It's not your responsibility to carry someone who refuses to walk, nor is it your duty to sacrifice your peace for their unwillingness to change. Letting go of these relationships doesn't mean you stop caring. It means recognizing that your energy is better spent on connections that inspire growth, mutual support, and shared joy. By stepping away, you give yourself permission to focus on your own journey and to surround yourself with people who are willing to grow alongside you. You deserve relationships that lift you up, that challenge you to be better, and that celebrate the progress you've made. It's not selfish to prioritize your well-being, it's a testament to the life you've built and the peace you've worked so hard to protect. 9. They are arrogant or boastful. Humility is a virtue that deepens connections, fosters understanding, and creates space for meaningful relationships. Unfortunately, not everyone embraces this quality. Some individuals constantly boast about their achievements, inflate their importance, or speak condescendingly to others. Their arrogance can make conversations feel one-sided, turning what should be a meaningful exchange into a performance centered solely on them. You may have encountered people like this, those who dominate discussions with tales of their past successes or exaggerated accomplishments. They rarely express interest in your experiences or perspectives and often dismiss others' achievements as insignificant compared to their own. Over time, such behavior creates a sense of imbalance and even resentment, as their arrogance leaves little room for genuine connection or mutual respect. What makes this especially disheartening is that boasting often stems from insecurity. People who feel the need to constantly highlight their accomplishments are often masking deeper fears or inadequacies. While it's natural to empathize with their struggles, it's equally important to recognize the toll their behavior can take on your emotional well-being. Their inability to share conversations equally or celebrate others' successes diminishes the joy and connection that should define relationships. Walking away from relationships with arrogant individuals isn't about judgment, it's about valuing humility and kindness in your life. You've earned the right to surround yourself with people who respect and uplift you, who share conversations rather than monopolize them, and who understand that true worth lies in how we treat others, not in how loudly we proclaim our accomplishments. By stepping back from boastful or arrogant relationships, you create space for connections rooted in authenticity, mutual respect, and genuine care. These are the relationships that enrich your life, offering not only companionship but also a sense of shared humanity that brings true fulfillment. 10. They undermine your confidence. One of the most damaging aspects of a toxic relationship is the subtle erosion of your self-confidence. Some people have a way of belittling your achievements, dismissing your ideas, or making you feel less capable than you are. It might not always be obvious, sometimes it's hidden behind a joke, a backhanded compliment, or a well-meaning piece of advice. But over time, these small moments add up, chipping away at your self-worth. You may have noticed someone in your life who seems to always have a reason why your ideas won't work or who points out your flaws more often than they celebrate your strengths. They might disguise their criticism as honesty or claim they're just trying to help you improve. But instead of feeling supported, you end up feeling inadequate, as if nothing you do is ever good enough. At this point in your life, you've likely accomplished so much, you've faced challenges, overcome obstacles, and built a life that reflects your values and strengths. You don't need people around you who undermine your confidence or make you doubt yourself. You deserve to be surrounded by those who believe in you, who encourage you to pursue your goals, and who celebrate your victories, big or small. Letting go of relationships that erode your confidence is an act of self-love. It's a way of saying, I deserve better. You've worked hard to build your life, and you deserve to feel proud of what you've achieved. By stepping away from those who bring you down, you create space for people who lift you up, who see your potential, and who inspire you to keep growing. Confidence is a precious gift, and it should be nurtured by those who truly care about you. 11. They are never there when you need them. True relationships are built on mutual support, being there for each other during both the good times and the bad. But some people seem to disappear the moment you need them most. They're happy to be around when things are going well, but when you face a challenge or need a helping hand, they're nowhere to be found. Perhaps you've experienced this. You reach out to someone in a moment of need, only to be met with excuses or silence. It's not just disappointing, it's hurtful. It makes you question the depth of the relationship and whether they truly care about you. And over time, it becomes clear that their presence is conditional, they're only there when it's convenient for them. At this stage in life, you deserve relationships that are dependable. You deserve friends and family members who show up when it matters, who offer their support without hesitation, and who make you feel valued and cared for. Letting go of those who are never there when you need them is not about holding grudges, it's about recognizing that your time and emotional energy are too valuable to be spent on one-sided connections. By choosing to invest in relationships that are built on mutual care and support, you create a network of people who will stand by you through life's ups and downs. These are the connections that bring true comfort and joy, and they are the ones that deserve your time and attention. Life is too short to be spent waiting on people who only show up when it suits them. Surround yourself with those who are there for you, just as you are there for them. 12. They make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. As you grow older, you learn the importance of self-care. You understand that in order to be there for others, you need to take care of your own well-being first. But some people make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. They might accuse you of being selfish or imply that you're letting them down simply because you're choosing to focus on your own needs. These individuals might not understand the importance of boundaries, or they may be used to you always putting them first. But at this stage in life, you've earned the right to put yourself first. You've spent years caring for others, and now it's time to give that same care and love to yourself. Letting go of people who make you feel guilty for prioritizing your own well-being is an act of self-respect. You deserve to be surrounded by people who understand and support your need for self-care, people who encourage you to take time for yourself, who respect your boundaries, and who celebrate your efforts to prioritize your health and happiness. Letting go of those who try to make you feel guilty is about choosing your own peace and well-being over someone else's expectations. It's about recognizing that you deserve to live a life that is fulfilling and balanced, free from guilt and resentment. Hey, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for being here. If you're finding this content helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We really appreciate your support, and it helps us create more content like this for you. Also, feel free to leave a comment below, let us know which of these points resonated with you the most, or share your own experiences. We'd love to hear from you. 13. They refuse to take responsibility for their actions. One of the most important aspects of any healthy relationship is accountability. We all make mistakes, we say things we don't mean, we forget important dates, or we let each other down. What matters most is how we respond when these things happen. Do we own up to our mistakes, apologize, and make an effort to do better? Or do we shift the blame, make excuses, or deny any wrongdoing? Some people refuse to take responsibility for their actions, no matter how obvious their mistakes are. They might dismiss their behavior, act defensive, or even turn the tables on you, making you feel like you're the one at fault. They'll make excuses for their actions, rationalizing hurtful words or behavior instead of acknowledging the impact they've had. This type of behavior is not only frustrating but also damaging to your sense of trust and safety within the relationship. Being with someone who refuses to take responsibility for their actions can leave you feeling confused and emotionally drained. It's hard to resolve conflicts or move forward when one person refuses to acknowledge their role in the problem. Instead of growth, these relationships often become stuck in a cycle of misunderstandings, blame, and resentment. At this stage in life, you deserve relationships that are built on honesty, respect, and mutual accountability. Letting go of someone who cannot admit when they're wrong is not about holding grudges, it's about valuing yourself enough to demand accountability in the relationships you invest in. Surround yourself with people who can say "I'm sorry" and mean it, who are willing to work on themselves and grow alongside you. You deserve connections that are authentic, where both people take responsibility for their words and actions. 14. They compete with you. Healthy relationships are about support, not competition. Friends and family should be the people cheering you on, celebrating your successes, and lifting you up during challenging times. But some people see everything as a competition. They aren't happy for you when things go well, instead, they try to outdo you or downplay your achievements. They might turn every conversation into an opportunity to boast about their own accomplishments, making you feel as though your successes are insignificant in comparison. This kind of competitive behavior can create a toxic environment where you constantly feel like you're not enough. You may start questioning your own abilities or doubting whether your achievements are worth celebrating. When someone is always trying to one-up you, it's difficult to feel a genuine sense of connection or support. It's exhausting to be around someone who views your life as a scorecard rather than a journey to be shared. You deserve relationships that are uplifting, where your accomplishments are celebrated, not compared. Letting go of someone who constantly competes with you is about choosing to be surrounded by people who want the best for you without feeling threatened by your success. Life is not a competition, and the people you choose to share it with should be those who are genuinely happy for your growth and achievements. Letting go of competitive relationships allows you to build deeper connections with those who truly value you. 15. They make everything about themselves. We all know someone who has a tendency to make everything about themselves. No matter what you're going through or what you're excited about, they somehow manage to shift the conversation back to them. It's as though your experiences are merely a backdrop for their stories, their struggles, or their opinions. While it's natural for conversations to be a give and take, there should always be room for both people to feel heard and seen. When someone consistently makes everything about themselves, it leaves you feeling unheard and unimportant. You may start to feel like your experiences don't matter, or that you're simply there to serve as an audience for their life. This kind of behavior is not only self-centered but also emotionally draining, especially when it happens over and over again. Healthy relationships are built on mutual interest, where both people genuinely care about each other's lives, thoughts, and feelings. If someone is unable to show interest in your life and instead monopolizes every conversation, it might be time to reassess the relationship. You deserve connections where your voice matters, where your experiences are valued, and where the conversation is a two-way street. Letting go of people who make everything about themselves isn't easy, especially if you've known them for a long time. But it's important to recognize that your experiences and feelings are just as important as anyone else's. You deserve to feel heard, to be part of relationships where both people share equally and support each other. 16. They are dishonest. Honesty is one of the cornerstones of any meaningful relationship. Without trust, it's impossible to build a connection that feels safe and authentic. When someone lies to you, whether it's about small things or big things, it undermines the trust that forms the foundation of your relationship. Over time, repeated dishonesty can leave you feeling insecure, doubting not only the person lying to you but also your own perception of reality. Dishonesty comes in many forms. It might be lying to cover up mistakes, exaggerating stories, or hiding important information from you. Regardless of the intention behind it, dishonesty erodes the sense of trust and security that you deserve in your relationships. It's hard to feel close to someone when you can't be sure they're telling you the truth. At this point in your life, you've likely experienced enough to know the value of honesty. You've learned that even difficult truths are better than comforting lies, because honesty allows for genuine connection and growth. Letting go of someone who is dishonest is about prioritizing your emotional well-being and creating space for relationships that are built on trust and authenticity. You deserve to be surrounded by people who respect you enough to be honest with you, even when the truth is hard. By letting go of relationships where dishonesty is a pattern, you make room for people who value transparency, integrity, and open communication. 17. They don't respect your boundaries. Boundaries are an essential part of maintaining healthy relationships. They help us protect our emotional well-being, communicate our needs, and establish what we're comfortable with. But some people either don't understand or refuse to respect the boundaries you set. They might push you to do things you're not comfortable with, disregard your requests for space, or make you feel guilty for asserting your needs. When someone doesn't respect your boundaries, it sends a clear message that they value their own desires over your comfort and well-being. This kind of behavior can leave you feeling powerless, as though your needs are being ignored or dismissed. It's exhausting to constantly have to defend your boundaries or justify why they matter. At this stage in your life, you've earned the right to set boundaries that protect your peace and well-being. You shouldn't have to explain or justify your boundaries to anyone. They should be respected simply because they are important to you. Letting go of someone who consistently disrespects your boundaries is about choosing to prioritize your needs and emotional health. You deserve relationships where your boundaries are acknowledged and respected, where the people around you understand that your comfort and well-being matter. By letting go of those who don't respect your boundaries, you create space for connections that honor your needs and support your emotional health. 18. They use guilt as a tool. Guilt can be a powerful tool, and unfortunately, some people use it to manipulate others. They might make you feel guilty for not spending enough time with them, for not doing what they want, or for prioritizing your own needs. This kind of emotional manipulation is harmful, as it places the burden of someone else's happiness on your shoulders. It can leave you feeling responsible for their emotions, even when you've done nothing wrong. If someone in your life consistently uses guilt to get their way, it's important to recognize this behavior for what it is: manipulation. Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and understanding, not on control or coercion. You should never feel obligated to compromise your own happiness or well-being to avoid someone else's guilt trips. Letting go of relationships where guilt is used as a tool is about reclaiming your emotional freedom. It's about recognizing that you are not responsible for someone else's happiness, and that your choices should be made from a place of love and respect, not out of fear of disappointing someone. You deserve relationships that are free from manipulation, where both people respect each other's autonomy and choices. Remember, if you're finding value in this content, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more insights like these. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you experienced any of these behaviors, and how did you handle them? Let's keep the conversation going. 19. They are emotionally unavailable. Emotional availability is a key element of any healthy relationship. It's about being able to connect with someone on a deeper level, to share your thoughts, your fears, your hopes, and to feel that they're genuinely listening and caring. But some people are simply emotionally unavailable. They keep their guard up, avoid meaningful conversations, or shy away from expressing their feelings. Being in a relationship with someone who is emotionally unavailable can be incredibly isolating. You might find yourself opening up, sharing your struggles or your joys, only to be met with a blank response or a change of subject. It's as if they are physically present, but their heart and mind are somewhere else. Over time, this lack of emotional connection can leave you feeling alone, even when you're with them. You deserve relationships where both people are able to express themselves freely, where emotional intimacy is nurtured and valued. Letting go of someone who is emotionally unavailable is not about giving up on them, it's about recognizing that you need and deserve more. You deserve someone who is willing to be vulnerable, who is open to connecting on a deeper level, and who values emotional closeness. By choosing to let go of relationships where emotional availability is lacking, you create space for connections that offer genuine intimacy and mutual support. You've earned the right to feel truly seen and heard, and it's time to prioritize that kind of connection. 20. They constantly judge you. Judgment is one of the quickest ways to destroy trust and openness in a relationship. When someone constantly judges you, whether it's about your choices, your appearance, or your beliefs, it creates an atmosphere of tension and insecurity. Instead of feeling accepted for who you are, you start to feel like you're always walking on eggshells, trying to avoid criticism or disapproval. You may have someone in your life who always seems to have something negative to say. Maybe they're quick to criticize your decisions, or they make offhand comments that feel more like personal attacks than constructive feedback. Over time, this kind of judgment can take a toll on your self-esteem, making you question your worth or feel like you're never good enough. At this stage in life, you deserve relationships that are built on acceptance and unconditional love. Letting go of someone who constantly judges you is about choosing to be around people who celebrate you for who you are, not who they think you should be. You deserve to feel comfortable being yourself, without fear of criticism or judgment. Letting go of judgmental relationships allows you to cultivate connections that are supportive, uplifting, and nurturing. 21. They make you feel insecure. Insecurity is a heavy burden to carry, especially when it's being fueled by someone close to you. Some people have a way of making you feel small, whether it's through subtle comments, comparisons, or dismissive attitudes. They might make remarks about your appearance, your abilities, or your accomplishments in a way that leaves you questioning yourself. It's as if they're always trying to keep you off balance, never quite allowing you to feel confident or at ease. You deserve to be surrounded by people who build you up, not those who tear you down or make you doubt yourself. Feeling insecure because of someone's behavior is not something you should have to tolerate. Your relationships should be a source of encouragement, a place where you feel safe and valued, not a constant reminder of what someone else thinks you're lacking. Letting go of people who make you feel insecure is a powerful act of self-respect. It's about recognizing your own worth and choosing to be around those who see your value and remind you of it. You've worked hard to become the person you are today, and you deserve to be around people who appreciate that. By letting go of relationships that make you feel less than, you open the door to connections that empower you to be your best self. 22. They are unreliable. Reliability is a fundamental part of any healthy relationship. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a partner, you want to know that you can count on the people in your life. But some people are consistently unreliable. They make promises they don't keep, they cancel plans at the last minute, or they're simply not there when you need them. This kind of inconsistency can be incredibly frustrating and hurtful, especially when you've made an effort to be dependable for them. When someone is unreliable, it leaves you feeling like you can't trust them, and that uncertainty creates stress and disappointment. You may find yourself constantly making backup plans or adjusting your expectations to avoid being let down. But relationships shouldn't be about managing disappointment, they should be about mutual support and trust. Letting go of someone who is unreliable is about protecting your emotional well-being. You deserve relationships that are dependable, where both people can be counted on to show up and support each other. By choosing to let go of relationships that are marked by inconsistency, you create space for connections that bring stability, trust, and a sense of security. 23. They drain your energy with negativity. Negativity is contagious. Spending time with someone who is constantly negative can take a serious toll on your mental and emotional health. They may complain about everything, see the worst in every situation, or focus on problems without ever considering solutions. Over time, this negativity can start to affect your own outlook, making it harder to stay positive and hopeful. You may have someone in your life who always seems to find something to complain about, no matter how good things are. Their constant negativity can be draining, leaving you feeling emotionally exhausted after every interaction. It's not just that they're venting, it's that their entire outlook is focused on what's wrong, and they're unwilling or unable to see the good in anything. At this stage in your life, your peace of mind is priceless. Letting go of people who drain your energy with negativity is about choosing to protect your own mental health. You deserve to be around people who lift you up, who see the good in the world, and who help you feel hopeful about the future. By letting go of relationships that bring you down, you create space for positivity, growth, and joy. 24. They are controlling. Control has no place in a healthy relationship. When someone tries to control you, whether it's through manipulation, demands, or pressure, it's a sign that they don't respect your autonomy. They may try to dictate how you spend your time, who you spend it with, or even what you think and feel. This kind of behavior is not only restrictive but also deeply damaging to your sense of self. Being in a relationship with someone controlling can leave you feeling trapped, as though you have to constantly make choices based on what they want rather than what's best for you. Over time, this can erode your sense of independence and make you feel like you have to diminish yourself to fit into their expectations. Letting go of a controlling relationship is about reclaiming your freedom. It's about recognizing that you have the right to make your own choices, to live your life in a way that feels authentic to you. By letting go of those who seek to control you, you make room for relationships that are built on respect, equality, and genuine care. 25. They bring out the worst in you. Some relationships have a way of bringing out the worst in us. You might find yourself becoming defensive, angry, or anxious when you're around certain people. They might provoke you, push your buttons, or create situations that lead to conflict and stress. It's as if their energy pulls you into a negative space, making it hard to be the person you want to be. You deserve relationships that bring out the best in you, relationships that encourage your growth, foster your happiness, and support your well-being. If someone consistently brings out the worst in you, it's a sign that the relationship is not healthy. It's not about blaming yourself or the other person, it's about recognizing that the dynamic isn't working and that it's time to make a change. Letting go of relationships that bring out the worst in you is about choosing your own growth. It's about surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to be your best self, who make you feel good about who you are, and who contribute positively to your life. You've worked hard to become the person you are today, and you deserve relationships that reflect and support that growth. If you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content, and we truly appreciate you being here. Let us know in the comments, have you experienced any of these behaviors, and how have you managed them? We'd love to hear your stories. 26. They are overly dependent on you. Healthy relationships require balance. Both people should be able to rely on each other, but also stand on their own. Some people, however, become overly dependent, expecting you to fulfill all their emotional, financial, or practical needs. They may lean on you for everything, from decision-making to emotional support, without taking responsibility for their own life. While it's natural to support those we care about, there's a difference between helping someone through tough times and being the sole foundation of their well-being. When someone becomes overly dependent on you, it can be exhausting. It can feel as if you're carrying both your own burdens and theirs. You might feel guilty for wanting space or resentful for not having your needs met in return. Relationships should involve give and take, not just taking. At this stage in your life, you deserve to be surrounded by people who are capable of standing on their own, who value your support but don't demand it at the expense of your well-being. Letting go of someone who is overly dependent isn't about abandoning them, it's about recognizing that a relationship cannot thrive if it's one-sided. By creating space, you allow them the opportunity to grow, to learn to be self-sufficient, and to take ownership of their own life. You also free yourself to invest in relationships that feel balanced, healthy, and supportive. 27. They don't celebrate your successes. One of the joys of being in a close relationship is having someone to celebrate your wins with, no matter how big or small. But some people struggle to be happy for others. Instead of celebrating your successes, they may dismiss them, downplay them, or even react with jealousy. It might feel like your happiness threatens them or makes them uncomfortable, and as a result, they avoid acknowledging your achievements. This kind of behavior can be incredibly disheartening. Your successes, no matter how small, deserve to be celebrated. When someone refuses to share in your joy, it diminishes the excitement and pride you feel about your accomplishments. Over time, it can make you less inclined to share your achievements, knowing they won't be met with the enthusiasm they deserve. Letting go of someone who cannot celebrate your successes is about surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care about your happiness. You deserve relationships where your achievements are met with joy, where your growth is celebrated, and where your happiness brings light to those around you. By letting go of those who react to your success with indifference or jealousy, you make room for connections that lift you up, cheer you on, and share in your joy. 28. They blame you for their problems. Blaming others is a way for some people to avoid taking responsibility for their own actions and choices. You may have someone in your life who always seems to hold you responsible for their problems. If something goes wrong, they find a way to pin it on you, even if you had nothing to do with it. They might say things like, "If only you had done this," or "I wouldn't be in this situation if it weren't for you." This kind of behavior is manipulative and unfair. Being blamed for someone else's problems can be incredibly damaging. It can leave you feeling guilty, confused, and constantly questioning yourself. You might start to believe that you're the cause of their unhappiness, even when it's not true. At this stage in life, you've likely learned that everyone is responsible for their own actions and choices. No one should make you feel as if you're to blame for their own missteps or challenges. Letting go of someone who blames you for their problems is an act of self-preservation. It's about recognizing that you are not responsible for anyone else's happiness or well-being, only they can take charge of their own life. By choosing to step away from relationships where blame is used as a weapon, you free yourself from unnecessary guilt and create space for connections that are supportive and respectful. 29. They refuse to compromise. Compromise is an essential part of any healthy relationship. It's about meeting each other halfway, finding solutions that work for both people, and respecting each other's needs and preferences. But some individuals are unwilling to compromise. They insist on getting their way, regardless of how it affects you. They might dismiss your needs, refuse to consider your perspective, or expect you to always accommodate them without ever giving in return. When someone refuses to compromise, it creates an imbalance in the relationship. It can leave you feeling as though your needs don't matter, as if you're always the one making sacrifices. Over time, this kind of dynamic can lead to resentment and frustration, as you realize that your needs are never being met. Letting go of someone who refuses to compromise is about choosing relationships where both people are willing to give and take. You deserve to be with people who respect your needs, who value your input, and who are willing to work together to find solutions that work for everyone. By letting go of relationships that lack compromise, you make room for connections that are built on mutual respect, understanding, and balance. 30. They are envious of your growth. Growth is a natural part of life. As we move through different stages, we learn, change, and evolve. It's something to be celebrated, both within ourselves and in those we care about. However, some people may struggle with your growth. Instead of being happy for you, they may react with envy or resentment. They might make snide remarks, distance themselves, or try to downplay the positive changes you've made. It can be painful to realize that someone close to you is envious of your growth. You want the people you care about to celebrate your progress, to cheer you on, and to support you as you continue to evolve. When someone reacts to your growth with envy, it can leave you feeling like you have to shrink yourself, to downplay your achievements in order to keep the peace. At this point in your life, you deserve relationships that celebrate who you are becoming. Letting go of someone who is envious of your growth is about choosing to surround yourself with people who want the best for you, who are genuinely happy to see you succeed, and who inspire you to keep striving for more. Your growth is something to be proud of, and you deserve to be around those who see it as a beautiful thing. 31. They disregard your feelings. In any meaningful relationship, feelings should be acknowledged and respected. You deserve to have your emotions taken seriously, to be heard when you express what you're feeling, and to have those feelings validated. Some people, however, have a habit of disregarding your emotions. They might tell you that you're overreacting, dismiss your concerns as unimportant, or ignore your feelings altogether. This kind of behavior can leave you feeling unseen and unheard. It's as if your emotions don't matter, as if your perspective is not worth considering. Over time, being in a relationship where your feelings are disregarded can be deeply hurtful, eroding your sense of self-worth and leaving you feeling isolated. Letting go of someone who disregards your feelings is an act of self-love. It's about recognizing that your emotions are valid, that you deserve to be heard, and that your perspective matters. By letting go of relationships where your feelings are dismissed, you create space for connections that are empathetic, understanding, and supportive. You deserve to be surrounded by people who care about how you feel and who make you feel valued. Conclusion: protecting your peace and choosing your happiness. As you journey through this chapter of life, you carry with you the wisdom of years lived and lessons learned. You've come to understand the profound truth that not all relationships are meant to last forever. Some are fleeting, others are transformative, and a few are enduring. But each one shapes you in its own way. Now, your priority is not to cling to every connection but to cultivate the ones that bring light, love, and harmony into your life. Letting go of certain relationships doesn't mean you're selfish or unkind, it means you've grown to value your peace, your time, and your emotional well-being. Walking away from people who take more than they give, who dismiss your worth, or who weigh you down with negativity is an act of self-preservation, not cruelty. It's a way of honoring the life you've built and the happiness you deserve. Remember, not every goodbye has to be bitter. Sometimes, it's a quiet acknowledgement that the paths you and another person are walking no longer align. It's okay to release them with gratitude for the moments you shared and hope that they find their own peace. By doing so, you create space in your life for the people who truly see you, value you, and cherish the unique presence you bring to their world. At this stage, your life is a treasure, a collection of memories, achievements, and wisdom. Surround yourself with those who appreciate the richness of your story, who make you laugh, who bring you comfort, and who remind you of the beauty in the days ahead. You've earned the right to live with joy and without compromise. Protect your heart, cherish your peace, and choose happiness without hesitation. Because in the end, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you cultivate with yourself. Respect it, nurture it, and let it guide you toward the people and moments that make life truly meaningful. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need to hear this, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us, and we'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments which of these points resonated with you the most. Thanks for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.